What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Reasonable Doubt, Season 3, Episode 8. We are almost at the end. Sorry. Almost at the end of the season. So listen, episode 8, I get it. I understand why y'all were like, we can't wait for you to get to episode 8. We can't wait for you to get to episode 8. So listen. So we open up this episode. We see what happened to Alex. Now we know at the end of the last episode, baby, Alex is flatline. He is out of here, okay? And the last thing we see is Sister Chrissy or Christy walking out of there. She's on the phone. Well, we find out that she's talking to Ozzy. She said, "Listen, Alex got beat up bad. You ain't got to worry about him. He ain't gonna be talking no more." But Ozzy was kind of like, "What you mean? Like you kind of sound like you kind of had something to do with him not talking anymore." And she was like, "I ain't had nothing to do with it, but I ain't mad about it either." So then we get the flashback and we saw what happened to Alex. Well, these two masked people basically beat Alex to death. Okay. And then come to find out that the person who paid the people to do it, it was the mama. So now Ozzy's mama has come into play. We knew she was coming back around because we remember that argument that Ozzy had with her in the first episode as it related to Wendy and him not wanting her to be his manager anymore. So we knew mama was going to come back around, okay? So while that's going on, Jackson brought her mama home. They're getting her all set up. They got an IV and everything set up for her at the house. And her dad is helping get everything, situated and straight. Now, he gets a text message while he's there trying to help get everything set up. And he's getting this SOS, text message from somebody named Chelsea. And I was like, now here we go. So while that is going on, we see Jax back down we see Sally actually. Sally gets a phone call. She gets a text message from her soon-to-be ex-husband's attorney. Because now that she done found the law papers, the lawsuit, the divorce papers, excuse me. Now he's all on board with, how people get in a divorce. So he want custody of the kids. He want to take the kids to North Carolina. Mind you, they live in California. He wants to move the kids to North Carolina. He wants full custody and he wants spousal support. Now we know that Sally is a doctor, but I never got the impression that the husband needed support from her. But okay. So Bill, who is there because him and Sally are like an item, but not really an item, but an item. And he was like, "Listen, you want me to read over those papers?" And she was like, "Don't you think that'd be a little weird?" And he was like, "Man, not so much. I mean, I'll help you, that way I can already give you my opinion before you have to pay your attorneys. You can just tell them what you want them to do." So she was like, "Yeah, I appreciate that." So then they have this weird moment where they're trying to figure out whether they're friends, more than friends, boyfriend and girlfriend, not boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't really care that much about this storyline. I don't know. Oh, and shout out to Reasonable Doubt for being renewed for season 4. So we will be getting another season of Reasonable Doubt, and I'm here for all of it. So I'm not really sure where we're going with this Bill Sally thing. Don't think I care that much about it, but one thing about Reasonable Doubt is one of those shows where everything means something. Even if you don't think it means anything right now, it's going to mean something. So yeah. All right. So down to the law office, Jax is talking strategy with Crystal, Daniel, and Bill. And they've decided that they are going to put the mother on the stand and basically maybe, try to show an alternate. Again, they're trying to create reasonable doubt. So anybody except for Ozzy could have done this. And she's like, "Look, the parents had access to the cabin. The parents, didn't like Wendy. Like it could easily have been the parents." So, they were like, "Listen, we're going to try to bring the parents in on this." So Crystal is like, "I can't figure out what happened." And Jax was like, "That's not our job. Our job isn't to figure out who killed Wendy. Our job is to convince the jury that it wasn't Ozzy and to give them the alternate version of events other than what the DA is trying to convince the jury." She was like, "Did OJ ever tell us who did it? I mean, did OJ's attorneys, I should say, did they ever tell us who did it? Or did they just give us reasonable doubt? Did they just say this was incompetence on the part of the LAPD and that they zeroed in on OJ Simpson, which means they didn't consider any other people? Or did they? She was like, they never told us who did it. And like Bill said, he said, yeah, because if they had actually told us who did it, and then the prosecution was able to poke holes in it, then you've lost your jury. Don't give them the roadmap of who you think did it. Just give them enough information that lets them off the hook of thinking who did it, right? So back to Eddie. Oh, before we get on that, baby Crystal done snitched on Daniel and told Jax that Daniel is sleeping with Sister Christy. And so Jax confronts Daniel about it. And Daniel, he's upset. He gonna tell Crystal, I'm mad at you. Crystal was like, what you mad at me for? Like, we cool and all, but my loyalty is to Jax and my loyalty is to my job. Okay. So I gave you a way out. I told you need to let Jax know. You chose not to tell Jax, so there it is. So now, y'all, my neighbors are outside arguing. They've been arguing for like an hour. Like my other neighbors have texted me and said, girl, do you hear them outside arguing? And they sound like they get louder. Anyway, so Daniel now is doubling down on trying to figure out what happened, right? Daniel is like, I have to prove that my point of view isn't skewed. Like, Jax is disappointed in me, and that bothers me more than her being mad at me. So I got to prove myself. I have to prove that, you know. Now, while this is going on, Ozzy is having these dreams, these fuzzy dreams showing Wendy being tied up. Now, at first he thought it might have been Monica, but now that Monica's sort of, we know Monica's a nasty, you know what, but they pretty much certain that she didn't do it. So he's kind of worried about where these visions are coming from, right? So we see Eddie go down to the police station to pick Chelsea up. Baby, come to find out Chelsea is his daughter. Now, let's be clear. I'm not even tripping over Eddie having a daughter, because we know Eddie was out in them streets. Eddie was on that stuff. Eddie probably wasn't thinking clearly, making bad decisions. So it's clear that, you know, he was out there doing what he was doing. And the daughter is younger than Jax, so it's not like he cheated on the mom, right? But baby, it sounds like Eddie is into some old dirty stuff with the daughter, right? He calls the daughter out for being getting pregnant at 16, 18, and 20, you know, so she got 3 kids. And he basically is talking about that, you know, she's a scammer, she's a thief. And she was like, oh, really? She was like, well, what's going on with Jax? And he said, don't worry about that. Like, I'm handling it. She was like, well, did you get the money yet? So now, Eddie, that makes me think that you up to something. That makes me question whether you really are trying to be cool with Jax because you really want to be back in her life, or you trying to get some money out of her. See, Lewis was right about you. I wanted to see you win. I wanted to see you win. But so then Eddie gonna say, back up off of me before I let the disability office know that you've been taking my disability check for this supposed back injury that I have. I said, so y'all just scamming all up and down the timeline, baby. So while this is going on, Daniel done snuck into Alex's apartment, and he was able to get his laptop. Baby, this is where it gets ugly. He done found a video on the laptop of Wendy sleeping with somebody other than Ozzy. Now, y'all remember in episode 1 where Ozzy's mama done told Ozzy that Wendy cheated on him, and then he confronted Wendy. But the question is, how did Alex get the tape? I mean, we're going to find out how Alex got the tape, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, why does Alex have a video of Wendy cheating? Because last week when we saw the glimpse of it, I said, well, maybe him and Wendy was messing around. But to find out it wasn't Alex. So Jax goes to Ozzy, and of course she has to let Ozzy know what she found and what the information is. And of course, like, the last thing you want to think about is your girlfriend who you are on trial for unalive and then slept with your dad. Oh, damn, I done gave it away. Just slept with somebody that cheated on you. So Jax was like, I need you to look at this video and I need you to try to identify. And he was like, I don't want to look at a video of my girlfriend sleeping with another man. Jax was like, okay, well, again, You're on trial for your life. I get it. I understand that this is not a comfortable thing for you, but baby, we got to do what we got to do to how we're going to get it done. So he's looking at the video. Now, I'm going to be honest. I knew it was the daddy. Or at least I suspected that it was the daddy. Because they showed the hand and they showed a watch. And I was like, Ozzy is going to recognize who this person is by their jewelry, by the watch. But when he acted like he didn't know who it was, I was like, but something just told me it was the daddy. Something just told me that it was the daddy. Well, baby, it was the daddy. But it wasn't really the daddy, but we're going to get to that. So then Jax calls the mama in and lets the mama know that she gonna testify, baby. And the mama was like, listen, let's cut the chase. Let's cut through all the bullshit. What you need me to say on the stand? Like, you want to subpoena me? Great. You want me to testify? Sure. What you need me to say? And Jax tried to be like, so you could have done it. She was like, listen, let's cut through all of the accusations. I know you got to do what you got to do, but just what it is. Or what is it? What it is. So the mama get on the stand and testify, and baby, the mama, baby, she put on a good, she put on a good show. Baby, she didn't let it be known on the stand that the daddy was the one sleeping with Wendy. And of course, Ozzy acted like he didn't know. So that's why I was like, I was shocked because I was like, I really thought Ozzy knew by the hand that he recognized the hand. Now, whether he just didn't want to admit it, accept it, or whatever, but I was kind of surprised. I was like, he got to know that that's who that is. Well, he doesn't. Or at least he said he doesn't. So, after the mama get off the stand, baby, the mama and the daddy are in the back of the car. And the daddy was like, really? That's what we doing? And she was like, what you mean? He was like, you couldn't give me a heads up or nothing. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, why would you do that to me? And so she said, well, you did it to me. He was like, so this is all because of Vanessa. And I was like, well, who the fuck is Vanessa? Baby, come to find out, Vanessa is his real Snow Bunny side chick that he been sleeping with off and on for 9 years. And the mama was like, oh, well, this is what you did to me. You cheated on me. You a liar. You a cheater, deceiver, heartbreaker. And I just testified to what it was. Okay, I just said what it was. And then in the interim, done pointed the finger at the daddy like the daddy might have been the one that unalived Wendy. I said, poor Ozzy. I said, no wonder he a drug addict. Because, baby, if this what you had to deal with your whole life, your mama on your left, your daddy on your right, baby, if this is, and your sister in the middle, if this is what you had to deal with your whole life, this is crazy. Okay? So, the mama said that basically, she got her revenge, like it was what it was. And the daddy is really sitting there like, he cannot believe that she did this to him. Well, we're going to find out why, we're going to find out why later. So, Jax goes out to dinner with her husband. And Lewis really, 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 really wants to tell Jax. But I guess he promised to give Eddie time to tell Jax the way he wanted to tell Jax, in her own little way or whatever. So, but you could see he really want to tell her. Okay, so there's that. I just threw that in there. Okay. After this testimony, baby, Ozzy is like, I need to breathe. Okay, I got to breathe. Anyway, so he wants to come to Jax's house, and Jax was like, well, you want house arrest. Like, I can't. He was like, I really need to get out. Like, I really need a break. So she was like, let me talk to the judge. Let me try to get you a pass. Now, while this is going on, Wendy's assistant, aka Cash Doll, I didn't know that was Cash Doll. Hey, girl. She's doing a podcast with what her name? Omarion, April Jones, aka the podcaster. She's doing a podcast basically saying she knows all about Ozzy, that Wendy told her all about who the real Ozzy was, and she was going to expose him on her Instagram live the next day. Now, I don't understand why people be announcing these things. I mean, part of me I do understand, because part of me is like, well, you're announcing it because, of course, you want your maximum viewership. But the flip side is, when you announce these kinds of things, you give people a heads up, which is exactly what Ozzy did. Baby, Ozzy called her and cussed her out up one side and down the other. And she said, you think Wendy didn't tell me that you slept with the director to get this part, and you did this with this producer, and you did this and you did that? He said, oh, well, you think Wendy didn't tell me that you be stealing clothes from the movie sets and then try to sell them online as brand new? Yeah, like, I got your number too. So she was like, I don't care what you say. I'm going live and I'm telling the world about you. Baby, Ozzy told her, he said, if you go on that live and you tell on me, he said, I'm going to rip that wig off of your head and I'm going to shove it down your throat. I said, oh, well. I said, well, now. So whatever the threat was, he must have believed it. I mean, she must have believed it, because, baby, she canceled that live. She said, you know, the things I was going to say, come to find out they weren't true, and I'm done with this. I'm sorry. I ain't got nothing to say. I said, oh. I said, so she must have really believed that Ozzy was going to do what he said he was going to do. Now, back over to Jax's house, they supposed to be having family dinner. The mama's there, the daddy is there, Lewis is there, and Jax is there. And, baby, Lewis tells Eddie, that's it, time's up. You need to tell Jax about your daughter. So Eddie ends up telling Jackson. Of course, Jackson's like, wait, whoa. Mama, did you know? Baby, mama said that wasn't my story to tell. One thing Jackson mama gonna do, but Jackson mama gonna stand by that. She gonna stand by it wasn't her story to tell. And then Eddie being an old snitch. Lewis, why everybody keeps snitching on you? Because, baby, Eddie dry snitched on Lewis the same way that the guy at the job dry snitched on Lewis. He gonna say, well, I promised Lewis. Jack's gonna look at Lewis and be like, so you knew? He was like, look, I was trying to give him the opportunity to tell you himself, okay? I said, everybody just be dry snitching on Lewis. So Eddie done told her about Chelsea. Now, at this point, Jackson's like, listen, I'm gonna be honest. My plate runneth over, okay? I got my mama over here. I'm in the middle of this murder trial over here. I don't have it in me. Like, I don't have no beef. I don't have no issues, but I just don't. I don't have it right now. Like, I can't process. It's too much going on for me to process all of this, okay? It's too much right in here, okay? And so, basically, Jax doesn't make any major like decisions in that moment, but she's pissed. I mean, it's that slow burn. It's that slow burn, but you can tell she's not very happy. Okay. Now back over to Ozzy's house, baby. They having family dinner, and Ozzy and the sister are talking to the parents. And of course, Ozzy is like, so you were sleeping with my girlfriend. Like, what the hell, Dad? And the father was like, listen, I'm guilty of some things, but I ain't guilty of what your mama said I'm guilty of, okay? He was like, yeah, I've been cheating on your mama. I've been sleeping with Vanessa for the last 9 years, but baby, I did not sleep with Wendy. So Ozzy was like, hold the fuck up. Somebody need to tell me something. Somebody need to explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old, because this don't make no sense. And he proceeded to throw a tantrum. He said, somebody better say something or I'm going to scream. Now, I'm going to be honest. I thought that was a figure of speech. I didn't think that he really meant he was going to scream. But baby, damn it if he didn't scream like a 5-year-old. I said, see, this boy got some arrested development. But let me put a pin in that and let me rewind for a second before I get there. Daniel and Sister Christy are having a moment. Daniel is going through her phone once again, trying to find out what's going on with this book. What was the bomb that was going to drop? What did Alex know? What was he going to say? So while Daniel is spying on Sister Christy is spying on Daniel. Daniel got her to go to the bathroom. She going through his notebook, and she sees in his notes where it says, where it says, Christy is hiding something. And she was like, Christy's hiding something. Well, what's Christy hiding? She gonna tear the page out of his notebooks. Ma'am, you don't think he's gonna notice that you tore the page out? Like, why did you need a copy of it? You could have took a screenshot the way he took a screenshot of your phone. So anyway, the two of them are ducking and dodging each other. I think they really do like each other, but because of the circumstances, they don't trust each other, which, that's not a good thing. So back to the family dinner, child, because so here's where the shit got crazy. And this is where I'm starting to side eye the mama, which is funny because obviously the mama was one of the people that I thought about, was guilty. Okay. Oh, shoot. What did I just do? Sorry, y'all. Oh, okay. That's what I just did. So at the dinner table, well, at the Ozzy's house, baby, come to find out, the mama found the sex tape of the daddy with Vanessa, his white girlfriend, took the tape to Alex, asked Alex to doctor the tape to make it look like it was Wendy sleeping with the dad. So come to find out, the tape wasn't even real. Mama, see, now I'm looking at the mama like, we know you got Alex, got him killed. You were willing to make your son believe that his father was sleeping with his girlfriend to get your way. And you even testified under oath. Under oath. That was the daddy sleeping with Wendy. Baby. So baby, Ozzy was like, yeah, I got to go. Like, I can't wait for Jax to get me a pass from the judge. And he shows up at Jax's house. Now, the good news is, even if, like, at least Jax can argue that and say, hey, we needed to work on something. Judge, it was last minute. I didn't have time to call you, because it is her attorney, right? I mean, it is his attorney. So maybe, But baby, so he ended up having a family dinner, which was a great time. He was able to laugh and joke and just kind of be around. Even though Jack's family got some stuff going on in it, it's a lot more normal than what the hell he dealing with over there at his house. Baby, I understand why the boy is a drug addict, okay? So he went to the bathroom before he was getting ready to go, and he actually saw Jack's anxiety pills, and he stole some. And I was like, damn, he done stole, Jack's medicine. But before he left, he actually gave it back to her. And she was like, I'm very disappointed, but I'm also very proud of you, because I'm sure it was a lot harder for you to give me these pills back than it was for you to even take them in the first place. So he goes back home and he calls Christy, and he tells Christy, listen, I think maybe I killed Wendy, because he keeps having these flashbacks of Wendy tied up in a chair. But the mama calls Jax and says to Jax, I think Ozzy might be the one. Like, I hate to admit that. I hate to think about it, but maybe Ozzy's the one that killed Wendy. So now, of course, Jax is sitting there like, what? And while all this is going on, guess who's parked out in front of Jax's house? Chelsea. I said, oh, buddy, here we go. Now, Bill actually gets served with divorce papers at the job. So Bill has officially been served with divorce papers. Sally is going through her divorce, and her husband, actually soon to be ex-husband, actually shows up at her um apartment, and she was like, "Nah, bro, you can't come in here. Like you suing me for custody. You suing me for um you want, like, no, absolutely not. You're not. No, absolutely not. You cannot. You're not coming up in here. Like that's not happening." Um. And here he go. She said, "You want to take the kids to North Carolina?" He was like, "Yeah, because we don't have any place to live here. Because remember our house." She said, "I'm so sick of you in this damn house. Like, I don't want to hear about it no more." And I'm gonna be honest, like, I get it. Cause like I was just as pissed off last season about the whole house situation as he was. And I get it. Y'all lost your house. I get it. Now, this is what I don't get. Chanel, why you don't get them people another house? Chanel, you got cleared of the charges, which means that your husband was a whole millionaire. Girl, you couldn't get him a down payment to get him a new house. I mean, since you are the reason why they lost that house to begin with. You knew that girl put her house up for you and you went on the run. Chanel, why you ain't getting people a house? And maybe Chanel offered. I don't know. Are they still outside, yo? Child. And I gotta take my trash out when I get off of here. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Anyway, that was pretty much the episode, child. I'm gonna take this trash out and I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna watch episode 9 because baby, I can't see where this is headed because next week is the final episode, so they gotta wrap all this stuff up. Okay. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. They are still.